Hi, I'm John from Westway IT and I'm joined here with Trevor from Clear Insurance Group. Welcome, Trevor.
Afternoon, John. I've been in the insurance game for 31 years, nearly 32. I specialise in technology risks and in 2014 was introduced to the risk of cyber. So since then, been specialising in one of the in that area from an insurance perspective.
So, what is cyber insurance, put simply?
So, cyber insurance is about covering yourself against for both your own losses and any third-party liability claim for cyber incidents.
What is third party, briefly?
Third party is customers who make a claim against you.
Let's say Jane in accounts has had a busy morning working, paying off all the invoices that have been sat in her inbox, and one of them was manipulated with scammers' bank details. She's paid out a good few £1,000s. She's got cyber insurance on the business. What happens now?
Well, first and foremost, we would encourage any client with cyber insurance to notify their insurer first and foremost. Really important that you stress that, because if they don't notify their insurer, it could prejudice the claim in the future. So they're in their insurer, notify them, their insurer then takes it to the next stage where they're making an assessment about what's happened. But the way you describe it, it's probably a crime incident. Okay. It's a cyber crime incident. So the policy would need to have that extension within the policy. And what you're talking about is somebody tricking somebody with an invoice, which has got dodgy bank account numbers, and somebody's paid that invoice, lost that amount of money. So essentially, depending on how they've done it, that's the key.
Right.
So you might want to use the forensics element of the breach response cost to check that they haven't got into anything else. And then obviously it's a case of just working out what's happened with that payment. Is there any opportunity to recover it through your bank or through any other source? And if there isn't, then the simple case is that's where the policy, if you've got the crime cover, would look to pay out.
That method's if one of their suppliers have been compromised and they actually sat in that account, or if it was Jane's account itself, or just a sort of spray and pray attack, a random invoice.
So there's two forms of fraud by invoice. One is invoice fraud, which is where you're duped into paying an invoice. So somebody sends you a dodgy invoice, say pretending to be one of your suppliers, for instance, sends you a dodgy invoice, you pay it, fairly straightforward, covered under the crime section. If it's vice versa, so if somebody pretends to be you and sends your client an invoice, pretending to be you, and that's a little bit more difficult. Now, some policies will extend to cover that to a certain limit, not every policy. But what your other thing is it's not you who's been duped. It's your customer who's been duped. Now, they might see it as a technology issue and think that it's your fault, or they might see it as because it looked like it came from you as an email, it's your fault, but not necessarily the case. And it's them who's been duped, so it's really about them having cover in place.
Yeah, so it's really important everybody has got cyber insurance or correct policies for whatever business they operate in place.
Yeah.
So let's take a different example. Frank's had a lovely weekend out the office, come in Monday morning, and the whole business is being held to ransom. He's being told, if you want your data back, you've got to pay out all of these bitcoins. He's got no idea what they are. Picks up the phone to insurance company, help.
Yes, so under your insurance policy, under the 6 basic covers of an insurance policy should be an extortion extension. And under that, at this moment in time, and I stress at this moment in time because it may change in the future, it will not only pay to get you out of the situation, but it very much might pay the actual ransom itself. Now, some people see that as funding crime or funding terrorism or whatever it may be, and therefore there's a moral argument at the moment that's arguing against whether or not insurance policies should be allowed to do that, and it may change in the future, which is why I always say that. But essentially what happens is you notify your insurer then makes an assessment. There's then the forensics brought in to have a look at what's been, how they've done it, you know, all of that kind of thing. So that's what they're looking to assess and see what they have to do next. Now, what they'll do is they'll bring in negotiators to talk to the people who are holding you to ransom, negotiate. They'll even source the Bitcoin on your behalf and take it forward from that point of view. So they're really focused and they know what they're doing because they've done it before. It's not simple. I mean, I remember a situation many moons ago now with a client where they had I think it was an 8-key encryption put on their systems, and they were asked for £1,600, right? Not a lot of money, you know. So they paid the £1,600 themselves, and that gave them one letter of the 8-key encryption. You know, they didn't realise that. So that's what you know. You've got to be aware of that kind of thing, and that's where the insurance policy, with their expertise behind it from their forensic people and people that they would use in that event, is, you know, a godsend.
And ransomware against companies that have cyber insurance puts us as IT companies in a tricky situation, because we really want to help get that business back up and running, but we need to hold off and wait for the cyber insurance to kick in, because we can cause more problems later down the road just trying to get a business operating.
Yeah, I mean, certainly what we'd say is, you know, any IT provider in the land is going to be wanting to jump on and help a business in need, and I would expect that from any IT company. What you've got to be cautious of is that if you jump in, do something, you could prejudice the claim. Really got to get your customer or those customers with cyber insurance to notify the insurer first. Now, at some point, you know, the IT provider can be involved because they have the knowledge and the know-how, and they know the system, so they're certainly going to be a help at some point in the future. So you'll still be able to act, but it's about acting within the parameters of what the insurer wants to do.
We've got to put our brakes on and not go full speed into the problem.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you very much. If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.